How did multi-billionaire, entrepreneur, investor, venture capitalist, and best-selling author Reid Hoffman become one of the wealthiest humans on the planet? Find out in today's episode of How They Got Rich.
My name is Dan Henry, and when I was 16 years old, I decided that I wanted to be rich. So I studied as many wealthy entrepreneurs as I could and used what I learned to create my own successful business. The purpose of this channel is to share my research with the world and show you how they got rich.
Behind the massive success of PayPal, Facebook, and LinkedIn is an unsung hero who played a role in each of them. His name is Reid Hoffman, and his ability to leverage digital technologies and foresee social media platforms helped him earn a net worth of $2.1 billion. How did this happen? Let's take a look. Hoffman grew up in California, immersed in tabletop role-playing games, exercises in strategy and imagination. Early on, he mixed business with pleasure by becoming an editor at game company Chaosium when he was 12 years old. At 14, his name was on the box of the role-playing game Borderlands. To win such games, a player has to employ more than strategy. Insight into the actions of other players is vital, as is the ability a child often has of being able to win in a world that only exists in the agreed-upon rules of all players. These childlike qualities are sometimes lost when people mature into adulthood, but Reid Hoffman would carry them into his work life and use them to become an extremely successful entrepreneur. Hoffman's journey from gamer kid to billionaire was not a simple teach-the-boy business process. His high school years were spent working in Vermont and studying, among other things, epistemology, the study of knowledge. This was at the Putney School, a progressive education high school. He attended Stanford University, studying symbolic systems and cognitive science, graduating in 1990, and went on to earn his Master of Studies as a Marshall Scholar at Wolfson College, Oxford in 1993. Hoffman decided after college that he would influence the world on some large scale. He judged that a life as an academic would be too small and that entrepreneurship was going to be one avenue. Book writing was another, but academic books don't sell on any appreciable scale. So he interned at Inglenook, a Napa Valley winery, learning the business by immersing himself in it. In 1994, he landed a job at Apple Computer, which was building an early version of a social network called eWorld. He also worked at Fujitsu, but it was in 1997 that he co-founded SocialNet.com, his first company, using much of what he had learned at Apple. SocialNet's focus was finding partners and friends with similar interests online. All kinds of interests: romantic, business, sports. The venture was one that Hoffman says left scars. The truth is that it was overly broad, not focused, and meeting people online was an idea ahead of its time. It would be another 7 years or so before social networking worked in a big way. It was during his time at SocialNet that Hoffman joined in helping to found PayPal as a member of the board of directors. It was a struggle all the way, fighting for market share in an extremely competitive environment. Hoffman's job was overseeing all external relationships the company had: legal, governmental, development of business relationships, and payments infrastructure, which meant financial services like credit card companies. His work there paid off. By the time eBay acquired PayPal in 2002, Hoffman was executive vice president. After eBay's acquisition of PayPal, Hoffman used his money to become a busy and successful angel investor. He gave startups cash, which became for him investments. In December 2002, he joined two former colleagues from SocialNet to found LinkedIn. It was one of the first social networks aimed toward business building. Users create professional profiles and connect with other business professionals to build their own networks. Job seekers use it as well, requesting and receiving connections with possible future employers. Central to LinkedIn's creation is Hoffman's idea of creating and taking advantage of connections a person can make. He believes that most people still don't know how to make and use new connections. He sees LinkedIn as a way to help them. Microsoft acquired LinkedIn in June 2016, paying $26.2 billion. Hoffman owned an 11% share of the company. The early 2000s is also when Hoffman's involvement with Facebook began. Mark Zuckerberg was betting on doing something Hoffman couldn't 7 years earlier: creating a social network. Facebook started by focusing very narrowly. It was intended to connect people around Harvard, where Zuckerberg was a student. This was February 2004. Within a month, with help from fellow students who handled graphics, programming, and business, it had spread to Stanford, Columbia, and Yale universities. Hoffman was approached by Zuckerberg, who was now seeking investment for his new company, Facebook. Hoffman gave $40,000 to the table, but he also brought in Peter Thiel, who invested $500,000. With Reid Hoffman as the linchpin, Zuckerberg got the boost he needed to create what has become a social media empire. Facebook started simply to create a virtual meeting place for college students. It began to diversify, creating free business page options for subscribers and paid advertising for them to grow their own businesses only later. It's a pattern Hoffman had ignored in 1997, and it made all the difference. His writing career began with posts on LinkedIn, pieces meant to help LinkedIn members. He has also published opinion editorials in the Washington Post, including one meant to encourage innovation on a grassroots level as a way of working our way out of the recession of 2008 to 2009. He also wrote one which encouraged immigration as a promoter of entrepreneurship and ultimately prosperity. He began his book writing endeavor by co-writing with Ben Casnocha. Their book, The Startup of You, Adapt to the Future, Invest in Yourself, and Transform Your Career, was published in February 2012 and promotes the idea of each person thinking of him or herself as the driver of their own career. He draws parallels between successful tech companies and individuals. The summary? You're a company, not a cog. In May 2017, Hoffman launched a podcast. It was called Masters of Scale. During each session, he describes a way of doing business which is counter to accepted norms, and then proceeds to prove its worth by discussing it with guests who are successful entrepreneurs. The podcast is committed to gender balance and has become a very visible contributor to the podcasting world. He has had such high-profile guests as Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg. It is now hosted at mastersofscale.com. He returned to book writing in 2018 with the publication of Blitzscaling, the lightning-fast path to building massively valuable companies, co-written with Chris Ye. The book promotes the idea that the secret to big growth is fast growth. In Hoffman's words, blitzscaling. It describes techniques for growing one's company at a speed others can't keep up with. Speed is valued over efficiency when uncertainty is present. Reid Hoffman emerged from college wanting to influence the world on a large scale. Larger certainly than academia would provide, and larger even than the game design he was successful at so early in life. Reid Hoffman may be a mere mortal, but he seems to possess crystal ball powers of prediction. With them, he has created his own companies, taking his tools of strategy, insight, and imagination honed in childhood. He is also encouraged by podcasts, by his writing, and by his financial support, the growth of other people's companies. He is creating a legacy that will continue to affect the world in powerful ways.
Hey, Dan Henry here, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of How They Got Rich. I created this channel because these men and women inspired me to quit my job years ago as a pizza boy and pursue entrepreneurship, which eventually led me to become a multi-millionaire. If you'd like to know more about that, you can follow me on my main YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dan Henry. But before you go, I'd like to remind you why the people on this channel are successful, as well as myself. It's because they've mastered 3 main areas of their life: business, productivity, and mindset. And that's why I've made it my life's work to help others in those 3 key areas. So here are 3 ways I can help you right now. If you own a business and you're looking to grow it, you can head over to getclients.com and learn how we built a $20 million business, as well as learn how these strategies can apply to your business. You'll find a collection of free trainings, podcasts, and blog posts on that website to help you grow your business. As well, you can grab a free copy of my book, Digital Millionaire Secrets, which is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. You can find that on getclients.com. Number 2, you can head over to plantomorrow.com and check out the Plan Tomorrow Daily Planner. This is a planner I personally designed to make myself more productive and get things done. Because the truth is, if you want to do big things, you have to get things done. And I know this planner will help change your life like it's changed mine. For a limited time, it also comes with a free productivity class taught by me, so head over there right now and grab yourself a copy. And finally, number 3, if you're struggling with mindset, confidence, motivation, imposter syndrome, or you're just looking to develop a rock-solid mindset so you can achieve more in life, then I want you to head over to howtothink.com, where we have daily mindset mentoring on how to achieve anything in life by changing the way you think. So grab a copy of your Plan Tomorrow Daily Planner now. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode.